Hey guys, how are you doing? It's me, Lilly, and today I want to present to you my urban survival kit. So in the last couple of years I've been developing the perfect survival kit for urban environments, maybe the city or just suburbia. And this is what I've been coming up with. So this is a very basic and minimalistic survival kit for urban environments. Before we dive into the kit, I want to let you know that this is really just a minimalistic urban survival kit. This is not a bug out bag yet. This is also just the beginning of a get home bag. But for a get home bag, which is really designed for farther distances to bring you home from far, this is also not efficient. So this is really just for when you hop into your car and when you stay in the vicinity of your area. So as long as you only have to walk home half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, you're going to be fine with this kit. But once you're really far away from home and you maybe need 2 or 3 days to walk home, then this kit is not enough. In that case, you would really need a proper get home bag. Right, so now let's start with our urban survival kit. Okay, first of all, I always have water with me. I carry this titanium bottle and it's super lightweight. I love it because I hate it when the weight of my backpack is weighing me down and I still want to be able to be running away from some threat. So I try to keep the weight of this survival kit low. Right, so we have our water bottle. And with this, you could also boil water in an emergency. I have a flashlight here with a striking bezel, so you can also use this flashlight as a self-defense tool in the night. It also comes with strobe mode, highly efficient, and you can recharge it with USB. And here I have a small power bank. I've chosen the one which is not very heavy, because I want to cut down on weight. So I can recharge this flashlight or my phone with this power bank. Then next, on my backpack, I always have this signal whistle. So whistles are always great to have, no matter if you're in an urban survival situation or in a wilderness survival situation. Yeah, then also here we have a lockpick set. In some states it's not allowed to carry this tool. Here in Austria, nobody cares. So yeah, I probably will never use it. I've never used it before, but it's always handy to have and it's super lightweight and small. So why not, add it to your kit. Okay, then for urban survival, it's very important that you can defend yourself. Now here in Europe, it's really hard to get concealed carry licenses. Almost nobody has them. There are some exceptions, taxi drivers, and if you have your own business, store owners, then you have a chance of getting a concealed carry license. But for most people, it's impossible. But I know that in the US, a lot of people are carrying. And I don't think that we have to argue that these kind of weapons are the best self-defense weapons and they are most efficient. But here in Europe, that's not an option. So what options do you have? Now, one very popular tool for self-defense is a knife, like this one here. This is a fighting knife. It's a dagger-like weapon. It has a proper handguard. Perfect for fighting, but I have to say, if you use something like this in Austria or in other European countries, you will be in big trouble. So with a knife, you will always have legal problems afterwards. It's going to be hard to prove that you were the innocent person. So I still have this knife here, but I hope that I will never have to use it. So what other options are there? And I have to say, I found a really good option on how you can defend yourself and how you can minimize the legal problems afterwards. And this is the solution. Look at this here. This is a selfie stick. And this is a high quality one, which is actually quite heavy. It has a little bit of weight on the front here. It's made from really sturdy aluminium. You're not going to rip this off easily. And it's a complete normal item that a lot of people carry. A lot of people carry selfie sticks nowadays. And you can always argue in front of the judge that you have this in your pack because you like taking photos. And then when it came up to the fight or somebody was chasing you or robbing you, that's the first thing that you grabbed from your backpack and you defended yourself with the stuff. So I don't think any judge will argue that you have any evil intentions with using a selfie stick as a self-defense weapon. And I think it's actually even better than the knife because, as you can see, it has more reach, so it's longer. And if you want to keep somebody at distance, this is always better to use. So with knives, you really have to know what you're doing. So you have to go into self-defense classes and learn how to use a knife. Most people don't know how to use a knife in a fight. So I think for most people, a selfie stick like this is the better option. And afterwards, you will have less legal troubles. Yeah. Also, you can carry this everywhere. Legally, you can carry this in every country. And I attach this stick at my backpack, sometimes at the outside, sometimes at the inside, where I can reach it quickly. And then I'm ready to defend myself. So yeah, selfie stick, I think it's the best option that you have for self-defense when it comes to close combat. Of course, if somebody has this, then the entire situation is different. Then none of these items are going to help you much. Then you can only run away. Okay, then I have one more thing that I want to show you. So before we open up the other bags here, the pouches, I've made myself a small wilderness survival kit for the car. So this always stays in the car. And in case you get into a wilderness survival situation, you can just take this out of your car and throw it into your pack. And then you're mixing both urban survival and wilderness survival. And you have to think about what kind of environments will you go through if you have to go home. So it could be urban survival only. And later on, you might get into a wilderness survival situation. It really depends on what you're doing, on what your location is, where is your home, and where are you going to work. Okay, now let's take a look at the 3 pouches here and let's check out what's at the inside. Alright, so in this pouch I have something to write. This is a Write in the Rain notebook. Then I got a small knife. Then here I got pens, pencils, and a Sharpie. And I got this screwdriver for electricians. And I have my calculator here. Sometimes I need to do calculations for when I'm driving to our local hardware store. And I have this small measuring tape because I always need it. So if I go to the hardware store, there's always something that I have to measure. And it's really small and fits into my small pouch here. So this is my admin pouch. And I use this frequently for EDC. Right, next, let's check out what we have in this pack. Alright, so first of all, here I have a standard first aid kit. It has the basics, band-aids, tissues, and also a emergency space blanket. So I keep this really small because I have a bigger first aid kit in my car. Then I have more tissues. Then I carry a small bottle of apple cider vinegar because it really helps me with my acid reflux. Now the next thing that I got here is a pulse oximeter, and this thing is really awesome. So it's really small, lightweight, and doesn't cost a lot of money, and it will tell you exactly your pulse rate but also your oxygen levels. So right now my oxygen level is at 98 and the pulse rate is at 77. So this is a great device that helps you checking your vitals. But also if you are involved in an accident and a person is unconscious, you can use this at the person to see if their heart is still beating and if you have to apply CPR. So I really love these small devices and they are really cheap. So I got a couple of them on Amazon. I have some of them at home and this one in my EDC. Okay, then next. In this box I have a Geiger counter that looks exactly like this. So normally I would not use a Geiger counter in my urban survival kit, but you know, because of the situation we are in right now, something can happen every day now. So I want to have a Geiger counter in case that I'm not at home. I can see what the situation is myself and I don't have to rely on anybody else to give me information. So with a Geiger counter you can immediately see if there's something wrong, whether it's coming from a nuke or whether it's coming from a power plant. This device here is really good. I've tested it and compared it with my other very expensive Geiger counter and it gave me the same readings. So if you're searching for a cheap Geiger counter that is reliable, this is the one. So this is really good and it only cost me 80 euros. Okay, so this is what's in my big pouch. It's not too heavy, not too bad. Now let's check what's in the smaller pouch. Okay, here we have earplugs, then a little bit of electrical tape. We have some hand sanitizer. We got a Leatherman rebar. Now this is a little bit more lightweight than the Leatherman Wave that I carried before. And it has some really good pliers, cutters and other tools. So I really like this Leatherman. Although I have to say I've never used it. So it's brand new. And it's actually also heavy. So I might switch it out with a smaller EDC knife and some simple very lightweight pliers. So that's what I might do in future. But yeah, right now I still have it in my pack. Then here I got a signal mirror. Yeah, mirrors are great so you can look into your own face. Then I have a small compass. This is a proper needle compass. Then we got some scissors that are folding. Really nice. Okay, I have some super glue. I got a charging cable for the flashlight. Okay, then here we got a small flashlight. It's producing only a very small light. So it's important that you can check your eyes if you have something stuck in your eye and you don't want to use a strong flashlight for this. Then we have a big lighter. And then we have this here. So it's really important that you have some kind of device on how you can gather intelligence. And what I have in here is a small radio. Now, a lot of people say, hey, you have a radio on your phone. Yes, that's true, but you know, in case of a strong EMP, your phone is not working anymore and only the protected devices are working. So this is a USB stick, flash drive, radio, recorder, and even a memory drive, I believe. Oops. So here you can insert a SD card. You can store some vital information on here. And this is how the USB drive comes out. You can recharge it with USB like this. And then you have the option to choose between music, or a recorder, radio, and your files. So that's a really good small gadget. And the most important function is going to be that you can listen to the radio. And this way you can find out what's going on. So I really love this small device. I don't think it's available anymore. So I went ahead and bought a second one, a different model. This one here. But this is actually not as good as the old model. Yeah, the quality of these items has become less good. So back then in the day when I bought this one, this was much better quality. Still, you might be able to find a better device than this here. This one is really cheap, but it's still working. I still want to have a second one, maybe for my car if I have to leave my car, or maybe I'm going to put this into my wilderness survival kit. Yeah. So yeah, this is what I have in my urban survival kit for the radio. So this is what's in my smaller bag. And as you can see, both of the bags are transparent. And this way you can see your stuff more easily. And this can be important in case you have a shock and you don't want to search through your stuff for a long time. So this way you can easily see your stuff and quickly grab it. Okay, so this is my urban survival pack. This is what I'm carrying every day when I leave my home. Most of the time I'm not going far. Now let's make a gameplay. Let's say we want to add more items and we want to make a get home bag out of the stuff here. Let's make a new scenario. You work farther away. You have to drive a couple of hours to your working place every Monday, and then you come back on Friday and you spend the weekends at home. So then you would add more items than just this. So first of all, if you're going through the wilderness, you want to add a survival kit for the wilderness. But today I don't want to discuss wilderness survival too much because I've done a ton of videos about wilderness survival. So what's other items that you would choose for a get home bag? For a get home bag, first of all, you want to carry some maps. You want to be able to navigate in case the GPS is breaking down. So get some maps from your area, but also for the areas that you may have to travel through in case of SHTF. Then next, this small power bank is not going to be sufficient for 3 or 4 days. So what you can add is a bigger power bank. This model has 10,000 milliamps. But this also might not be sufficient. So what you could add to your car is a small solar panel. This one has 20 watts. This one cost me about 70 euros, I believe, back in the day. But maybe you find one for a better price. Okay, next you want to have some kind of binoculars or monocular like this one here. And you want to be able to observe your area to not get into trouble. You also might want to add another headlamp so you have both of your hands free working. Okay, then next you want to maybe add a better radio like this one here. Because the small radio is good for FM, but it's not going to listen to AM or shortwaves. So it's definitely never a mistake to have a better radio with you. Also, you could add a ham radio to your kit, like this one. A lot of preppers are on ham radios and you can get intelligence from there. And this also listens to the radio. Then you can also add another breaching tool. This is one that I carried a lot when I was living in the city. So I wanted to be able to smash windows of the subway in case there's a fire and the passengers cannot get out. So I always carried this. Gladly, I never needed it. One time we had to pry open some doors because the doors were locked and the passengers could not get out. And then we had to pry open some doors. But back then the subway had handles, so it was possible to pull them open on the handles. But the new subways don't have handles on the doors anymore. So then I would take this preaching tool and lock into the door like this, and then you have a handle that you can pull. So this is really, really good for the city, for when you have trains. And the new trains sometimes don't have handles, which is crazy. I think it's a safety hazard. So the small crowbar was really nice in urban environments. But if you are going with a car, I can always recommend a proper crowbar. This can really save lives. So if there's an accident and you see a person getting stuck inside of the car, you can rescue them with this crowbar. Very important safety tool. Then if you're looking for other preaching tools, a small iron saw is great. It's also very lightweight, so you could add something like this to your kit. Okay, then because you are already in a car, you can also add a gas mask. Now, if you say that this is too much for you, you don't want to carry this, or you don't want to have this in your car, it's too bulky and big and it might get stolen, then okay, then you can still take another mask, which is cheaper, more lightweight. So this is a mask which is used for spray painting. And with the filters, it's going to look like this or like that. So yeah, you might have to use this mask in case there's a wildfire, or maybe there's a volcano outbreak, or maybe there's a toxic train derailment where there's a lot of bad fumes and you have to travel through this area. So there's many reasons why you want to have a gas mask or a spray paint mask like this one here. This is actually really lightweight, doesn't take up a lot of room. Okay, so let's say you're really in a car, it's breaking down, or you're stuck, you have to leave your car. What else would you need to get home in 3 days? Well, the answer is a really good wool blanket. Now, besides the wool blanket, you also want to have food and water, of course. The food is not so important, but the water is. So you would have to find water. Also, I have a water filter inside of this can here. I would also take a small emergency cooker. This is a ethanol stove. If you have to make a fire, it's working, of course, but it will gain attraction, and also it will take time and slow you down. So a small cooker like this one here will come in very handy, and then you can cook your water in this container or this one here. All right, so as you can see, we have developed a pretty big kit. Now we were going from a minimalistic urban survival kit to a pretty big get-home bag. And now for this stuff, you also need a bigger rucksack. So this is why you want to have a big backpack in your car. So in case you have to leave, you take it out and go. Or you can take it out and store it in the hotel room, so it doesn't get stolen if somebody breaks into your car. Right, so this is it for the get home bag. Also, I highly recommend that you adjust your survival kit to your environment. So if you're living in the desert, you need to stock up on water. If you're living in Alaska, you need more than just a wool blanket. You might even want to add a tent to your car and the best possible sleeping bag that you can find. Alright, so this is it, guys. I really want to thank you for watching and stay tuned till next time.